This opening should cover. Start with a powerful question. Why do some people command respect the moment they enter a room, while others spend years trying to earn it and still get ignored? Explain that respect cannot be forced, bought, or begged for. Introduce Robert Greene's core idea. Real power is quiet. The most respected people don't seek attention. They influence others through their behavior, not their words. Discuss why modern society confuses popularity with respect. Attention fades, respect lasts. Explain that the video will reveal 9 silent behaviors that make people naturally admire and respect you without trying to impress anyone. Build curiosity. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence is often louder than words, and why the people with the greatest power rarely announce it. Smooth transition. Let's begin with the first behavior, the one that almost every powerful person has mastered, yet very few people truly understand: the power of silence. Have you ever noticed that the loudest person in the room is rarely the most respected? In today's world, people feel pressured to constantly explain themselves. They think every opinion must be shared, every achievement must be announced, and every criticism must be answered. Social media has trained us to believe that visibility equals value, but Robert Greene teaches something entirely different. He reminds us that true power is often silent. The people who hold the greatest influence are usually the ones who speak the least and observe the most. Silence is not weakness, it is control. Most people speak because they are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill every empty moment with words. They reveal their plans before they take action. They defend themselves before anyone has even accused them. And in doing so, they unknowingly give away their confidence. Think about it. When someone constantly explains themselves, what message does it send? It often signals uncertainty. It tells the world they need approval. But the person who remains calm, who doesn't feel the need to justify every decision, communicates something far more powerful. They show that their confidence comes from within, not from the opinions of others. Robert Greene often emphasizes that mystery creates authority. The less people know about your thoughts, the more carefully they watch your actions. Human nature is curious. We are naturally drawn to what we cannot fully understand. When someone reveals everything about themselves, there is little left to discover. But when someone chooses their words carefully and speaks only when necessary, people begin to pay closer attention. Silence also protects you from unnecessary mistakes. Many people destroy opportunities simply because they talk too much. In moments of excitement, they reveal their goals before they are achieved. In moments of anger, they say words they regret for years. In moments of insecurity, they expose fears that others may later use against them. A disciplined person understands that not every thought deserves to become a sentence. This doesn't mean you should become distant or cold. It means your words should carry weight. When you finally speak, people should feel that your message matters because you don't waste words on meaningless conversations. Notice the leaders, entrepreneurs, and individuals who naturally command respect. They don't interrupt everyone to prove they are intelligent. They listen first. They observe. They gather information. While others are busy trying to impress the room, they are quietly understanding it, and that gives them an incredible advantage. Silence allows you to see what noise hides. You begin noticing people's intentions, emotions, insecurities, and motivations. You hear what others miss because you're not focused on preparing your next sentence. Instead, you're fully present. This is one of the greatest forms of psychological power. When someone insults you, they often expect an emotional reaction. They want proof that they have affected you. But silence denies them that satisfaction. Your calm response forces them to question themselves. Suddenly, the person who tried to control your emotions realizes they no longer have that power. That is emotional strength. Of course, silence doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations. There are moments when speaking is necessary. There are times when truth must be expressed clearly and confidently. But the strongest people know the difference between speaking with purpose and speaking out of impulse. Every unnecessary word costs energy. Every unnecessary argument steals peace. Every unnecessary explanation weakens your position. Instead, let your actions become your language. People may doubt your intentions, but they cannot argue with consistent results. They may ignore your promises, but they will remember your discipline. They may question your confidence, but they will eventually respect the person who remains calm while everyone else is desperate to be heard. Remember this simple principle. The more secure you become, the less you feel the need to prove yourself. And that is why silence is one of the first behaviors that earns genuine respect. It is not about saying less because you have nothing to offer. It is about saying less because you understand that your value is not measured by how much you speak. It is measured by the strength of your character. Once you master the power of silence, you stop chasing attention. You start attracting respect. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is to constantly seek approval from other people. Many spend their lives adjusting their opinions, changing their behavior, and hiding their true identity just to be accepted. But Robert Greene reminds us that people rarely respect those who desperately want to be liked. Instead, they respect those who remain true to themselves, even when it is unpopular. When you rely on others to validate your worth, you hand them control over your emotions. A compliment lifts your confidence, while criticism destroys it. Your peace becomes dependent on someone else's opinion. That is not confidence, it is emotional dependence. The truly respected person does not ignore feedback, but they do not build their identity around it. They understand that no matter how good they become, someone will always criticize them. Trying to please everyone is an impossible mission, and in the process, you lose the most important thing, yourself. Think about the people you admire. They are not respected because everyone agrees with them. They are respected because they stand by their principles. They make decisions based on values, not popularity. Their confidence comes from knowing who they are, not from hearing applause. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or rejecting advice. It means learning the difference between constructive guidance and the endless desire for approval. Listen, learn, improve, but never let someone else's opinion define your value. The moment you stop chasing validation, something remarkable happens. You become calmer, more decisive, and more authentic. People begin to notice that you are no longer trying to impress them. Ironically, that is when genuine respect starts to grow. Transition, but even without seeking validation, there is one challenge that can still destroy your influence. Losing control of your emotions. That's the next behavior every respected person must master. Nothing reveals strength more than emotional control. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy, but true character is tested when emotions run high. Robert Greene teaches that people who cannot control their emotions become easy to manipulate. The moment anger, fear, or frustration takes over, you stop making wise decisions and start reacting instead of thinking. Most conflicts begin because someone chooses emotion over reason. A single impulsive sentence can damage a relationship, ruin an opportunity, or create a problem that lasts for years. The strongest individuals understand that every reaction has a consequence. Instead of responding immediately, they pause, observe, and choose their words carefully. Emotional control does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means refusing to let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. When someone insults you, stay composed. When life becomes difficult, remain focused. Your calmness sends a powerful message. Your mind cannot be controlled by outside circumstances. People naturally trust and respect those who remain steady under pressure. While others panic, they think clearly. While others complain, they look for solutions. This quiet discipline separates leaders from followers and gives them an advantage in every area of life. Remember, your emotions are powerful servants but dangerous masters. The more control you have over your inner world, the less power the outside world has over you. Transition. Once you master your emotions, the next step is becoming someone people can never fully predict. because mystery often creates more respect than complete familiarity. One of Robert Greene's most powerful observations is that people lose interest in what they can easily predict. When everyone knows exactly how you will react, what you will say, or what your next move will be, they stop taking you seriously. Predictability makes you easy to read, while a little mystery makes you memorable. This doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It means avoiding the habit of revealing every thought, every plan, and every emotion. Many people announce their goals long before they achieve them. They explain every decision, defend every action, and leave nothing to the imagination. In doing so, they give away their advantage. Respected people move differently. They let their actions speak before their words do. They don't feel the need to prove themselves or seek attention. Instead of making loud promises, they quietly produce results. This creates curiosity. People begin to wonder what they're working on, what they're thinking, and how they stay so composed. Mystery has a psychological effect. It naturally draws attention because the human mind is attracted to the unknown. The less you reveal unnecessarily, the more others observe you with respect rather than assumption. Keep your vision private, your progress consistent, and your confidence quiet. Let people discover your strength through your actions, not your announcements. When your success surprises others instead of your words, your influence becomes far more powerful. Transition, but even mystery has limits. To earn lasting respect, you must also know where to draw the line. And that begins with setting firm boundaries. Respect begins the moment people realize they cannot take advantage of you. Robert Greene explains that those who constantly sacrifice their own needs to please others often lose the very respect they are trying to earn. Kindness is a strength, but kindness without boundaries becomes an invitation for disrespect. Many people are afraid to say no. They accept every request, tolerate unfair treatment, and remain silent when their values are ignored because they fear disappointing others. Over time, this creates a pattern. People begin to expect unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your attention. What was once appreciated soon becomes taken for granted. Strong boundaries are not walls that push people away. They are clear lines that protect your peace, your purpose, and your self-respect. When you politely but firmly refuse something that goes against your priorities, you send a powerful message. Your time has value, and so do you. The most respected individuals do not argue endlessly or seek permission to protect themselves. They remain calm, speak clearly, and stand by their decisions without guilt. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is often a no to something that truly matters. Remember, people learn how to treat you by watching what you allow. If you tolerate constant disrespect, it will continue. But when you set healthy boundaries with confidence and consistency, others naturally begin to value your presence. Transition. Once you've protected your time and energy, the next habit becomes your greatest source of influence, learning to listen far more than you speak. One of the most underrated forms of power is the ability to listen. While most people enter a conversation focused on what they are going to say next, truly respected individuals focus on understanding. Robert Greene often points out that information is one of the greatest sources of influence, and those who listen carefully always learn more than those who constantly speak. When you allow others to talk, they reveal far more than they realize. Their fears, ambitions, insecurities, and intentions naturally come to the surface. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to understand human nature. The person who listens gains knowledge, while the person who talks too much often gives away their own position. Listening also communicates confidence. You don't interrupt to prove you're intelligent. You don't dominate every discussion just to be noticed. Instead, you remain present, thoughtful, and patient. Ironically, people are often more impressed by someone who asks meaningful questions than by someone who always has the answers. This habit also strengthens relationships. Everyone wants to feel heard and understood. When you genuinely listen without rushing to judge or respond, people naturally trust you, and trust is one of the strongest foundations of lasting respect. Remember, your words can only share what you already know, but your ears can teach you something new every single day. Speak with purpose, but listen with intention. The more you understand others, the wiser your own decisions become. Transition, but even great listeners face criticism and provocation. The next behavior will show you how the most respected people refuse to react to every insult, distraction, or challenge placed in their path. One of the greatest signs of inner strength is knowing when not to react. Robert Greene teaches that people often provoke others because they want control over their emotions. The moment you respond with anger, frustration, or desperation, you give them exactly what they wanted. Your reaction becomes their victory. Not every criticism deserves an answer. Not every insult deserves a response. Some people thrive on conflict because it gives them attention and satisfaction. The strongest individuals understand this. Instead of being pulled into unnecessary battles, they remain calm and focused on what truly matters. Imagine a lion walking through the forest. It doesn't stop to fight every barking dog along the way. It continues toward its destination because it knows its energy is too valuable to waste on distractions. The same principle applies in life. Every argument you avoid is not a sign of weakness. It is proof that you have learned to protect your peace. This doesn't mean allowing others to disrespect you. There are moments when you must speak firmly and defend your values, but there is a difference between responding with purpose and reacting out of emotion. A calm response shows confidence, while an impulsive reaction often reveals insecurity. Remember, your attention is one of your most valuable assets. Don't hand it over to people who haven't earned it. Stay focused on your goals, guard your emotions, and let your success speak louder than your anger. Transition, mastering your reactions is powerful, but true respect is built long before anyone is watching. That's why the next behavior is about developing discipline and integrity in private, even when no one is there to applaud you. The respect you receive in public is built by the habits you practice in private. Robert Greene reminds us that character is not revealed when people are watching. It is revealed when no one is. Anyone can appear disciplined for a few moments, but only a person with true self-mastery remains committed even without recognition or applause. Many people dream of success, yet very few are willing to do the unseen work. They wait for motivation before taking action, but motivation is temporary. Discipline is what creates lasting results. The most respected individuals don't depend on how they feel each day. They keep showing up, improving, and honoring their commitments whether anyone notices or not. Private consistency builds public confidence. Every early morning, every difficult decision, and every small promise you keep to yourself strengthens your character. Over time, these invisible actions become visible results. People may admire your achievements, but they rarely see the quiet sacrifices that made them possible. This is why integrity matters. Your words and actions should match, even when there is no audience. A person who remains honest, disciplined, and focused in private develops a confidence that cannot be faked. That confidence naturally earns respect because it comes from genuine character, not performance. Remember, reputation is what people think about you, but character is who you truly are. Build your character first, and your reputation will take care of itself. Transition, there's one final behavior that ties everything together, the quiet strength of knowing when to walk away without explaining yourself. That simple decision often earns more respect than 1,000 arguments. Perhaps the greatest display of confidence is knowing when to walk away without feeling the need to explain yourself. Robert Greene teaches that power is often revealed not by what you hold on to, but by what you are willing to leave behind. Many people remain trapped in unhealthy relationships, toxic friendships, and meaningless arguments because they fear being misunderstood. They keep explaining, defending, and proving themselves, hoping that one more conversation will finally change someone's mind. But the truth is, not everyone wants to understand you. Some people simply want to control your time, your emotions, and your peace. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they owe everyone an explanation. They feel guilty for saying no. They apologize for protecting their boundaries. They spend hours defending decisions that were never wrong in the first place. Over time, this habit drains their confidence because they begin living according to other people's expectations instead of their own values. The strongest people understand a simple truth: your life is not a courtroom, and you are not required to defend every decision you make. If your intentions are honest and your actions align with your principles, that is enough. Not everyone will agree with your choices, and that is perfectly normal. Think about how much energy is wasted trying to convince people who have already made up their minds. Some people don't argue because they seek truth. They argue because they enjoy conflict. They want your attention more than they want your perspective. The moment you recognize this, you stop trying to win every debate. Instead, you choose something far more valuable: your peace of mind. Walking away is not an act of weakness. In many situations, it is the highest form of emotional intelligence. It takes far more strength to remain calm and leave a pointless argument than to stay and fight for the last word. Anyone can react. Anyone can shout. But very few people possess the discipline to simply smile, remain composed, and move forward. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Every unnecessary argument, every toxic relationship, every painful memory, and every attempt to please impossible people adds another stone. At first, the weight seems manageable, but as time passes, you become exhausted. Progress becomes slower, your energy disappears. The only way to move freely again is to put the backpack down. Walking away is exactly that. It is choosing freedom over unnecessary burden. Many people fear that leaving a toxic situation means they have lost. In reality, staying where your peace is constantly destroyed is the real defeat. Sometimes the greatest victory is refusing to participate in battles that have no meaningful reward. Your future deserves your attention more than your past deserves your explanation. This principle also applies to criticism. Not every negative opinion requires a response. People will misunderstand you. They will judge your decisions without knowing your struggles. They will create stories about your life based on limited information. If you spend your life correcting every misunderstanding, you will never have time to build the life you truly want. Robert Greene often reminds us that mystery creates strength. When you stop explaining every move, people are left with only one thing to judge: your results. And results speak far louder than endless words. There will always be moments when a conversation is necessary. If someone genuinely cares, honest communication has great value. But there is an important difference between explaining yourself to build understanding and explaining yourself because you are desperate for acceptance. One comes from confidence, the other comes from fear. As you grow, you will discover that not everyone is meant to continue the journey with you. Some people only belong in one chapter of your life. Trying to force them into every chapter only delays your own growth. Respect their path, respect your own, and continue moving forward. Remember this: every time you choose your peace over unnecessary conflict, your purpose over distraction, and your self-respect over the need for approval, you become stronger. The most respected people are not those who win every argument. They are the ones who know which arguments are not worth having. Sometimes the most powerful sentence you will ever say is no sentence at all. Sometimes the strongest response is to quietly turn the page, walk away, and allow your actions to tell the rest of your story. Now that you've explored these 9 silent behaviors, a deeper question begins to emerge: what connects them all? At first glance, they may seem like separate habits: speaking less, controlling your emotions, setting boundaries, walking away from conflict. But Robert Greene's philosophy suggests they all grow from the same foundation: mastering yourself before trying to influence the world. Most people spend their lives trying to change how others see them. They chase approval, recognition, and acceptance, believing that respect comes from external validation. They carefully manage their image, hoping that if enough people admire them, they will finally feel valuable. But this approach creates a fragile confidence because it depends on something you can never fully control: the opinions of other people. Real respect works in the opposite direction. It begins the moment you stop asking, "How can I make people respect me?" and start asking, "How can I become someone worthy of respect?" That single shift changes everything. Instead of performing for an audience, you begin building your character. Instead of seeking attention, you seek discipline. Instead of chasing popularity, you pursue purpose. Robert Greene repeatedly emphasizes that true power is internal before it is external. Every powerful leader, thinker, or strategist first learned to master their own impulses. They understood that if you cannot control yourself, someone else eventually will. Your emotions, your fears, your need for approval, and your impatience become openings that others can exploit. This is why self-awareness is so important. Before you can lead others, you must understand yourself. What triggers your anger? What situations make you insecure? Why do certain opinions affect you so deeply? These questions are uncomfortable, but they reveal the areas where growth is needed. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against another person. It is against the weaker version of yourself that seeks comfort over discipline and excuses over responsibility. Think about the strongest people you've ever admired. They weren't respected because they were perfect. They were respected because they remained steady when life became difficult. When others complained, they kept working. When others reacted emotionally, they stayed composed. When others quit after failure, they adapted and continued moving forward. That consistency creates trust. People naturally respect someone whose actions remain aligned with their values regardless of circumstances. They know what to expect from a person of character. They know that success hasn't made them arrogant and failure hasn't made them give up. Their identity isn't built on temporary victories or painful defeats. It's built on principles that remain unchanged. This mindset also changes the way you see obstacles. Instead of viewing criticism as an attack, you begin seeing it as information. Instead of fearing rejection, you recognize it as redirection. Instead of allowing setbacks to define you, you allow them to refine you. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to strengthen your patience, discipline, and emotional resilience. That is the difference between reacting to life and leading your life. Another important lesson from Robert Greene is patience. Modern society celebrates instant success, but lasting respect is rarely built overnight. It is earned through thousands of quiet decisions that no one notices. Every time you keep your word, control your emotions, protect your boundaries, and continue working without seeking applause, you are investing in a reputation that cannot easily be taken away. People often underestimate the power of small daily actions because they don't produce immediate results. But character is built the same way a mountain is formed, slowly, consistently, and over time. One disciplined decision may seem insignificant today, yet repeated for months and years, it transforms your identity. The truth is that respect cannot be demanded. It cannot be forced through louder words, expensive possessions, or constant self-promotion. Those things may attract attention, but attention fades. Character endures. When people see someone who remains calm under pressure, speaks with intention, honors their commitments, refuses unnecessary conflict, and continues growing without seeking validation, they recognize a rare kind of strength. It is the strength that comes from self-mastery rather than ego. So don't focus on becoming the loudest voice in the room. Focus on becoming the most disciplined mind. Don't waste your energy trying to convince everyone of your worth. Build a life so rooted in integrity that your actions become undeniable. Because in the end, respect is not something you chase. It is something you quietly earn, one decision, one habit, and one disciplined day at a time. And once that respect is built on character instead of appearance, no criticism, no rejection, and no temporary setback can ever take it away. It becomes part of who you are, and that is the kind of power Robert Greene believed was truly lasting. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on everything you've heard. These 9 silent behaviors are not tricks to manipulate people or shortcuts to becoming admired. They are principles for transforming yourself from the inside out. The greatest lesson Robert Greene teaches is that respect is never something you demand. It is something you quietly earn through your daily choices. Think about how much of life is spent chasing things that disappear. People chase attention, popularity, praise, and approval, believing these things will finally make them feel important. But attention fades, opinions change, the applause eventually becomes silent. If your confidence depends on those things, then your confidence will always be temporary. Real respect is different. It stays with you because it is built on character, not circumstances. It is built through the decisions you make when no one is watching. It grows every time you choose discipline over comfort, patience over anger, wisdom over impulse, and purpose over distraction. The truth is, every person you admire has faced moments when they could have reacted emotionally but chose to remain calm. They have experienced rejection, criticism, failure, and misunderstanding. The difference is not that they avoided these challenges. The difference is that they refused to let those challenges define who they became. Life will continue to test you. There will be people who underestimate you. Some will doubt your abilities before you've even had the chance to prove yourself. Others may judge you based on rumors, appearances, or a single mistake. You cannot control any of that, but you can control how you respond. Every time you refuse to seek validation, you become stronger. Every time you stay silent instead of arguing, you become wiser. Every time you protect your boundaries, you protect your future. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, you shape your destiny. These small decisions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over months and years, they create a person who no longer depends on external approval. They create someone whose confidence comes from keeping promises to themselves rather than impressing others. Remember this, people don't always respect the loudest voice in the room. They respect the person who remains calm when everyone else is panicking. They respect the individual who keeps moving forward without announcing every step. They respect the one who listens before speaking, thinks before reacting, and acts before making promises. That kind of respect cannot be bought. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be taken away by temporary failure. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they need to prove their worth to everyone they meet. But the more mature you become, the more you realize that your energy is limited. You don't need to convince every critic. You don't need to answer every insult. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. Some people will misunderstand your silence as weakness. Let them. Some will mistake your patience for fear. Let them. Some will think you've given up simply because you stopped explaining yourself. Let them. Their opinion does not determine your future. Your actions do. Imagine where your life could be 1 year from now if you practice these 9 behaviors every single day. Imagine speaking only with purpose instead of emotion. Imagine refusing to seek approval from people who don't truly know you. Imagine becoming so disciplined that your habits continue even on the days when motivation disappears. Picture yourself remaining calm in situations that once made you angry. Picture yourself walking away from toxic relationships without guilt. Picture yourself protecting your peace instead of protecting your ego. That version of you is not created overnight. It is built one decision at a time. Growth is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it is invisible. Like a tree growing deep roots beneath the ground before anyone sees its branches, your character develops quietly. The world may not notice your progress immediately, but eventually your actions become impossible to ignore. This is why patience matters. Don't become discouraged if people fail to recognize your growth today. Continue improving anyway. Continue learning anyway. Continue becoming stronger anyway. The goal is not to impress the world. The goal is to become someone you respect every time you look in the mirror. Because when you respect yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop begging for attention. You stop fearing rejection. You stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. You stop allowing temporary opinions to control permanent decisions. Instead, you begin living according to your principles, and people naturally notice that kind of quiet confidence. Robert Greene's philosophy has never been about controlling others. At its core, it is about mastering yourself. The person who controls their emotions, guards their time, protects their peace, and stays committed to their purpose possesses a kind of power that cannot be easily shaken. So, from this day forward, choose silence when silence is stronger than words. Choose discipline when comfort tempts you to quit. Choose patience when frustration demands an immediate reaction. Choose integrity when no one is watching. Choose growth even when progress feels slow. And above all, remember this timeless truth. Respect is not built in the moments when the world is watching you. It is built in the quiet moments when you choose the harder path simply because it is the right one. If you can do that consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year, you won't have to ask anyone to respect you. Your character will speak before you do. Your actions will introduce you before your words ever can. And your quiet strength will leave an impression long after you've left the room. Thank you for watching. If this message helped you see respect from a new perspective, carry these lessons into your daily life. Don't just admire them, practice them. Because the life you want doesn't begin when other people change. It begins the moment you do,